Give your fans what they want by reading their minds. I'm going to share a few tips with you on this episode on how to do that. Join me in my mission to help put at least 50,000 music artists on the right track to be independently successful with their music, to turn the talent that they have with their voice into gold. My name is Billy Nellis, and welcome to the Golden Voice Podcast. Boom! So if you're like me, many times it happened that, you create something because you think that's what your audience wants. You just assume that, okay, if I create this, they're going to want that, right? Well, you know how when you go about creating a product, you put it out there, it can be some merch or some music that you created, and then all you hear is crickets, right? So you work so hard, you put in the work, you put it together, you put it out in the marketplace, you put it out there, you put it online, and nothing happens, right? Well, you have to think about how can you put something out and people actually want it. All right. Well, there's a process that happens for you to be able to do that. And that's what I want to share with you on this episode so that you don't make the same mistake that I've did for years on me assuming that, okay, if I put this product out there, they're going to want it, when I don't actually truly know if they actually do. You see what I'm saying? So as a music artist, as a musician, as an independent music artist on the rise, you need to be smarter. And you need to be things that are going to be effective so that you don't take action for nothing. You understand what I mean? And one of the most simplest thing that you can do in order to find out, what your audience want, what your fans want, is by asking, right? You ask and you collect the data on the things that they actually want. And once you find that out, you actually give it to them. You understand what I mean? So here's a few tools that you can actually use in order for you to be able to read the minds of your fans, right? Figure out exactly what they're thinking so that you can identify what they want. And once you know what they want, you just give it to them and something magic happens there, right? So on social media, for example, there will be some features that you'll be able to use, such as polls. For example, if you're on Instagram, just like I am, I'm a little bit more active on Instagram, and you may have seen that if you follow me at BigShotBeats _ on Instagram, right? So I put some posts out there that have questions, and some of them are like trivia, or they have an option A, B, C, or D, or whatever it is that I put out there. But there's a reason why I'm doing this, is because I'm trying to read the minds of my audience and identify where they're at with the question that I'm asking, right? So you, as the music artist, for example, if you are about to write a song and you're not 100% inspired, or you're looking for an idea or something that's going to inspire you to write, how about you go to your audience? And it doesn't matter if it's 2 people, 5 people, 10, 100, 1,000, it doesn't matter. Ask them a question. What subject should I be writing about today? And give them options that, they can give you an answer for, right? Because it could be a simple A, B, C, and D. And from there, it's going to guide you to what your audience wants so that you can actually give it to them, right? Or another example is, you can do a survey, right? And that's another tool that you can use that's going to allow you to know exactly what's on the mind of your audience, your fans, the people that are in your ecosystem, so that you can actually give them something that they actually want. You know what I mean? And, if you're about to do some merch or a t-shirt or something like that, right? Ask them some questions. You understand what I mean? What color t-shirt do you usually wear? Or what color t-shirt would you prefer if I was to come out with one, right? So you would start with something like, okay, I'm about to create a new t-shirt, and I want it to be the best t-shirt that I can offer. And I just want you to fill out this quick little survey so that, I can come up with something amazing, right? Instead of you just go about creating a new design by yourself, and you're like, yeah, I think they're going to like this. And, oh, I'm going to make it like this and this and that. And you didn't ask no questions. You didn't figure out and extract the data from their mind with some questions that you can add either with a poll on social media or with a survey. And with surveys, you can use something like SurveyMonkey, or, Typeforms or JotForms. JotForms is one of them that I use. And you can write a series of questions that can really help you extract the data from your audience minds. And once you identify these things, it's going to be a whole lot easier for you to create something that they actually want, instead of, putting something together that you think that they want. Okay, it's two different things right there. And if, for example, you put a poll out there and you're looking for some questions and there's crickets, well, at least you know that it's something that they're not interested in, and you're not gonna put in so much effort into creating something that they actually have no interest for or that they don't want. All right. And it's the same thing for a product or some merch that you want to put out there, right? So if you have an email list, for example, and you send a survey out, right, and you're like, man, I'm about to create a free t-shirts. Please help me create the best t-shirt that I can offer you by answering a few questions. Go to this link to answer a few questions. And, nobody fills it in, and nobody, answer these questions. Well, you know that you're not going to go and spend out some resources or efforts to create that merch, that t-shirt, or that idea that you have if there's no interest for that, right? So with that said, you want to be smarter, okay? You want to be effective. And even me right now, because I had a conversation with one of my good friends I'm actually going to bring on to this podcast, and he reiterated this concept of, finding out exactly what your audience wants by asking them and by surveying them and by, putting polls out there so that you can get that data. And from that data, you identify what they want, and then you give it to them. And that's how you can actually read their mind, because when you ask these questions, when you list out the things that, that you're going to ask them, and there's one thing that he did that was actually pretty genius and important for each of the questions, is that he doesn't always have multiple choices of answers that you can pick from. He has a little line or a field where you can type some things, and he says, please explain. So that was huge right there. And there's nothing that I'm going to be putting out there without this step of asking, surveying, extracting the data from my audience mind so that I can figure out where they're at and give them exactly what they want. So hopefully that was of value right there. Okay. This is how you can actually read the minds of your audience and give them what they want, instead of creating something thinking that and you'd be surprised. Sometimes you have no idea. And when you're able to use, just a simple ask, okay, asking more questions, okay, you'll be able to identify exactly what they want, and you just give it to them. All right. So hopefully that was of value. If you know somebody that would want to hear something like this, and it's, really important for me to put that message out there so that you don't do the same mistakes that I do. And you'll see me do a lot more of that. And matter of fact, maybe I should even do a little survey for the Golden Voice podcast to figure out, where some of you guys at that are listening to this, some of the content that you want to hear more of, some things that you want to learn about, and all that good stuff, so that I can know exactly what some of you want and give it to y'all. All right. So don't forget to subscribe, follow wherever you tune in from. And with that said, I'm going to sign out for now, and I'll talk to you on the next one. I really appreciate you tuning into the Golden Voice podcast today. There's so many other ones out there to listen to, and I don't take your interests lightly. I really hope that what I shared with you today made sense and helped put you on the right track to be independently successful with your music. So if it did, share this podcast episode with somebody else that would need it too. Cool? Now let's take a step further. Do you want instant notifications for when I upload new episodes? Text the word podcast to 647-277-5177. I repeat, text the word podcast to 647-277-5177, and I'll shoot you a quick text for when I upload new Golden Voice podcast episodes in the future. So thanks again for tuning in, and I will talk to you on the next one.